Alright, boys, so this right here is why it's becoming very, very hard to get the best picks on YouTube, because I sent these exact picks to the Discord this morning, and by the time I could even open OBS, start recording a video, and going on about why I chose these picks, you could see every single pick in this entry got bumped. So I made a 6-man with these TBT props, and if you saw my community post, I actually cashed a 6 for 6 on that. So I want to give you guys my absolute favorite ones for today, which was the ones in the slip, but you could see every single line got bumped downwards, and I had unders on all of these players, so 18 to 17.5, 13.5 to 12.5, and you get the point. We got a point of value on each of these guys. Now, yeah, that's great for everyone in Discord, but on YouTube, now you guys are going to be having them at 1 point less than where I originally liked them. Not to say that they're not amazing picks anymore, but 1 point, especially on 6 players, is a lot of value to be missing out, especially in basketball. Every point is going to count. It matters more than like a receiving guard or a passing guard. So I don't want to be giving you these exact picks. The good news is if you are on Underdog, some of these guys are actually not bumped. So I will be going over in this video and showing you which ones are still good on Prizepicks, which ones are good on Underdog. And just to show you it's even worse than this was one 6-man that all got bumped. Then this other slip, I had 4 TBT slips here, all on the under. Once again, 12.5 to 11.5, 11.5 to 10.5, 12.5 to 11.5, and 15.5 to 14.5. So absolutely every TBT prop I placed on Prizepicks got bumped this morning. But like I said, on Underdog, there still is some value. And I did find 4 new props that I do like that are not bumped yet. So I'm going to be going over all that in the video and showing you my best TBT props. Some of you guys might still have that $10 promo and did not use it up. I'm going to give you some nice props to use there. Now I will go over a lot. I do have some announcements in today's video and I will be doing a lot of yapping. So let's get into it with the Discord recap to start. It was absolutely crazy this weekend because Prizepicks was running all kinds of promos. So they ran a $10 4-man. If you put $10, you get a nice $10 free lineup. I cashed both of those 4-mans that I sent out. So this one I said, put your $10 on so you get the promo for the next day. 10 into 100 there. Then we got that $10 free lineup. I turned that into $95 for everyone who had that lineup. So that's $195 in return right there on a $10 investment. So that was great. Then the $20 came. They said put $20, you're going to get a nice $20 free lineup. So I said put 20 on this 2-man. That's another $40 profit there. And then I went back to back on that and I cashed the free power play. So this was the next day when we got that free 20 lineup and cashed another 60. So you can see all the profit numbers right here. 90, 95, 40, and 60. Assuming you put in, $20 and $10 on each of those slips. The other ones were free. So that is a ton of profit. Then for TBT, there was a $10 free 6-man and I slapped it on this. Again, all unders. The value is on the unders on TBT more often than not. Obviously, you still have to find the decent spots as I'm going to go over in this video. But we went ahead and cashed that too. So that's a free $250. So that's over $500 in profit just off these promo slips. It was an absolutely crazy weekend for these promo props. And I know this is going to sound like a massive lie, but my actual picks for the YouTube video that I was planning yesterday was going to be this TBT slip and it was going to be this COD lineup. The reason I didn't upload is because by the time I was able to upload, it was already too late because one of the TBT games started, another one got bumped, and it was like 1 p.m. Eastern and COD was starting in like 1 to 2 hours. So I felt like there wasn't much of a point of posting lines that were probably going to be gone by the time my upload was up. Seems like in hindsight, I probably should have filmed and uploaded that video, but it is what it is. I'm coming at you with some more value tonight. Last thing I want to mention before I get into the picks is that as of this Thursday, I will not be uploading for a full week. I'm going on vacation from the 25th to the beginning of August. So full 7 or 8 days that I won't be having any uploads. So what I want to do for all the loyal people who are watching this part of the video and didn't just skip to the picks is I'm going to be running a 50% discount on my weekly packages so that you guys could continue to tail while I am on vacation. I will still be sending picks in the Discord or I'll have some backup people sending slips in. But I just won't be uploading YouTube videos because I won't be at my setup and I won't be able to upload videos. I won't have enough time to do that. So obviously I'll still be running the premium Discord because people are paying for that. So I will be running the 50% discount for the first 15 people that go and click the get access on the weekly plan, whatever it's Prizepicks, or if you want the Prizepicks plus Underdog plan, and put in code TBT. Just type TBT in. You're going to get 50% off your first week, and it's going to be about $7 for you guys to join for the first week. This is going to be for all the new users who have not joined yet. Good way to get in for cheap. And I basically never run promos for the Discord, so this is a good time to get a little discount because I doubt I'm going to ever run another promo unless it's like Christmas or something. So that is my little announcement for today. First 15 people will be able to take advantage of this deal. And now we're going to get into the picks. I'm going to show you the ones that I like on Prizepicks as well as the ones I like on Underdog. So as I said, a lot of the value is still going to be on Underdog because on Prizepicks, the lines I was liking got bumped downwards as I showed you in the intro. So for Underdog, they're still at those higher lines. So I imagine a lot of you are on both Prizepicks and Underdog, so you'll be able to play the lines on Underdog because they're better there either way. And all the picks are going to be in TBT. If you don't know what this is, it's just a basketball tournament. There's some college alumni. There's some other players who have just been in the NBA. Honestly, there's not really any big names in here. There's like Eric Bledsoe, Willie Cauley-Stein, players like this. Honestly, a lot of these guys are kind of just rejects who didn't make it into the NBA and playing in random leagues. So let's start it off with the first pick I'm liking. That's going to be this guy, Ryan Boatwright. So right away, you see he's 10.5 on Prizepicks. So the value is on Underdog because we're getting him at 11.5. Now for all of these plays, I'm going to show you if they're better on Underdog or Prizepicks If you don't have Underdog for some reason, I guess you can play it on PrizePicks, but you're getting way more value on Underdog. And I would not be surprised if these guys hook by like 1 or 2 points. So definitely play it on Underdog if you do have an account there. If you don't, sign up with code OddsJuice. They're going to deposit match 50% whatever you put in. So if you put in 100, they're going to give you 50. If you put in 500, they actually give you 250. And if you do end up doing that using code OddsJuice, just DM me on Instagram and I'll give you a free week of my PrizePicks plus Underdog picks as a thank you for using my code. Of course, I get a kickback from that. The reason I'm liking this guy, 31 years old, averaged 11 points last season. But if you scroll all the way down, you're just going to see in 2023-2024, he actually played 3 games in the Israel League, and now he played 2 games in the Greek League. So he has not been playing too much here, and he's not been averaging a lot of points. So he averaged 11 points in the 2 games he played this year in Greece, and then 4 points in Israel. And then you could see in the previous years, he played in this league. I honestly don't even know what this is. VTB United League, only averaged 9 points per game there on 19 minutes. And the team he played previously in that year averaged 13.2 points, which does seem like a lot, but he was putting in 27 minutes, and you could see how his points total are kind of tapering off within the past 2 years. Other than that, he was playing in France in the second league and in the first league, where he both averaged around 11 to 12 points. Nothing too impressive on this guy, but this is probably one of the picks that I would not play on PrizePicks because I think 10.5 might be a bit too tight. 11.5, definitely a play on Underdog. Second pick is one I would be comfortable taking on both PrizePicks and Underdog. That's going to be Chris Coffey at 12.5 points. You're going to see his game logs right here. He played in Germany for 2021 to 2024, and he's not doing very good. 9.4 points average, 9.1 and 8.2, and he's actually tapering off in the past 3 years. And obviously, these numbers are nowhere near his 12.5 mark that he set on PrizePicks. But like you saw in the beginning, I already played this guy at 13.5 on PrizePicks, but now I have to give you guys the bump lines as I explained in the beginning of the video. But Chris Coffey at 13.5, at 12.5, I'm liking both of this. Of course, again, if you're on Underdog, play it there. Next pick is Chris Warren at 17.5 points on the under. Again, these are all going to be unders. I think I made a mistake on Underdog here. You want to be on the lower and lower. And then Chris Warren, if you want to play it on Underdog, 17.5 points is playable. Let's take a look at his game logs here. He played in the past 2 years in the Turkish second league, where he was averaging like quite a bit of points here, 21.2. But it seems his team got promoted up to the Turkish first league, and his points per game drastically dropped here at 13-point game. And he was also putting a bit less minutes in here. As you can see, this guy's getting pretty old. He's 35 years old. He was playing in the NCAA during the freaking recession. He started his NCAA career in the recession here. So it's been a while since this guy's been in the game. And he was doing, pretty well back then. But at 35 years old, things are different here. In the Turkish First League, he was struggling. And even when he played in France not too long ago, still averaging well below 17.5 in this season and a bit below that in this season right here at 15.3. So another decent shout here on the under. Another player that could be playable on PrizePicks but is better value on Underdog is Wes Clark on the under 11.5 points. At Underdog, he is higher because this is one of the lines that did get bumped. I did lock him at 12.5 on PrizePicks, got bumped to 11.5. Play it on Underdog where it's still 12.5. I'm liking the value on this guy because he's playing in the German league once again. It's not that tough of a league, only averaging 10.3 points per game on 19 minutes. And same thing for this season. He's playing in Germany once again, 8.2 points per game average on 19 minutes. And there was only 2 seasons where he actually averaged over 10 points, and it was quite a while ago here in 17-18 in college, and then in 19-20 in the Italian league. So nothing too impressive for Wes Clark, the 29-year-old. We're going to grab him on the under. Another pick I'm liking, Jamel Artis here. He set at 11.5 on PrizePicks. Did get bumped once again. He is still 12.5 on Underdog. Like all the other picks, I'm going with the under, and you should be playing this one on Underdog, but I do like it still at 11.5 on PrizePicks. His last game played was in the Mexican league here. He only played 1 game. And before that, he played in Kosovo Superliga. Not really an impressive league, and he was only averaging 9.9 points on 23 minutes. The season before that, he was averaging 12.8. But again, he was playing in the Basketball African League. I don't even think that is a top 15 league in basketball here. And he was averaging 29 minutes per game and only getting 12.8 points per game. Of course, I like it better at 12.5, but I think that's still playable at 11.5 on PrizePicks. And one last thing to note on this artist, guys, the last time he played seriously was in France here in 2020. Because all these other seasons, he's barely been playing 4 games here, 11 here, and 2 here. The last full season he plays was 26 games in France, averaging 11.1 on 29 minutes per game. So again, another reason I'm loving this under. Another player that is bumped on PrizePicks but better on Underdog is Paul Harrison. 11.5 on PrizePicks, 12.5 here on Underdog. And let's take a look at his game log and season logs. The last time he played was actually in the 17-18 season. So it's about 6 years since he's played professionally. And he was playing on the Argentinian league where he only averaged 9.8 points and 10.1 in his last 2 seasons. He played a decent amount of games in both those seasons, 12 and 15, and was averaging about 20 minutes. He's now 35 years old and wasn't averaging near that in his last seasons. The last time he was averaging 26 points per game, but that was in Finland's second division when he was playing in the first division back in 14-15, which was quite a while ago, only averaging 9.3 points per game. Again, this is one you could take on PrizePicks, but you're better off taking an underdog for that extra point of value. Next up, we got one of Paul Harrison's teammates. That's going to be Bryce Beamer. He's set at 10.5 on both PrizePicks and Underdog, so you could choose where you want to play it there. If we go take a look at this guy's season logs, last time he played was in 2022. He just played 2 seasons of NCAA, where he averaged 20 minutes per game in his first season and only got 7.4 points on average per game. And then he played in 2021, 2022, and nothing since then. I'm going with the under 10.5 points here too. So of these 6 guys that I just threw in the lineup, I'd eliminate a couple of them and play him on Underdog instead. So that would be Chris Coffey. He's 13.5 on Underdog. Go play him there. Chris Warren, we're going to keep in the PrizePicks lineup because he's 17.5 on both apps. Wes Clark, go play him on Underdog. He's at 12.5. Same thing with Artis. You could play him at 12.5 on Underdog. And same thing with Paul Harrison. He's also 12.5 on Underdog. So now we have 2 players left where we're not losing value to Underdog. So I'm going to go build out the rest of the slip with these 2 guys in mind. If anything's bumped by the time you're watching, you could go and take those other 4 guys I just showcased earlier in the video. But for now, we're going to end this slip off with just straight Pi6 players. The Underdog slip you could go with is all these guys, plus all the guys I mentioned. I mean, there was like 10 players I went over in this video. Whatever seemed most convincing to you, go ahead and take. So these are the 5 I would consider. And honestly, I would even throw in a 6th one here. This guy, Alonzo Verge. I'm not going to show you his stats and everything, but I was looking at him and he wasn't really averaging near this. 18.5 on Underdog, 17.5 on PrizePicks. So that's 6 props you could go ahead and use. Throw it into a 6 flex if you want to, or put it into 2 3-mans. I'm probably just going to throw 100 on this actually right now and throw this and send it to the Discord. But that is going to be the Underdog picks. Let's go finish off the PrizePicks ones now. All right, next up in line on PrizePicks, we're going with Scoochie Smith here on his under 12.5 points. And you're going to see that line is actually pretty near where he's averaging in the past 2 seasons. But look at the leagues where he's averaging these things and look how many minutes he's playing. So 29 on average here, 31 and 28. That is quite a bit of minutes. And look at the leagues. Just playing in Lithuania, he's playing in Poland, and then he played 2 seasons in the Adriatic League where he didn't even average over 8 points per game. Yes, he's averaging over that in these leagues, but these are not even like top 10 basketball leagues. I'm not really worried about that. Over in the NCAA, he was only averaging 13.8 games in his last year. Not too impressed with the Scoochie guy, and he's now 29 years old. We want to be on that. The next pick I'm going with here is Frank Mason on his less than 15.5 points. And honestly, if there's one pick to worry about, it's this guy. He was a bit of a unit, especially in his last season for Kansas here. He dropped 20.9 points per season on 36 minutes per game, which is a lot, but he did actually play in the NBA for 2 seasons. Then he dropped over to the G League where he averaged 26.4 points per game. But his second season in the G League, you could see the drop off in these points from 26.4 average. Just 2 years later, he was averaging 17.4. And finally, he started playing in France where he averaged 10.6 points in his first season on 23 minutes, and this season it got much more inflated to 15.5 points, but that is on much more minutes than he played in his first season. Definitely some peak minutes for this team right here, so I'm not worried about 15.5, and I think the competition in this TBT tournament is actually harder than the French league, so I'm going with the under on here. It's the one pick that I would worry about, but I still feel confident in it, and honestly these unders have been money for me during this whole TBT tournament. Finally, last pick is going to be DJ Kennedy on his under 9.5 points. Nothing too impressive on this guy. Last season, he did play in Israel, where he averaged 12.2 points per game, which of course is above that 9.5. But it's Israel, guys. The 2 seasons before that, he played in the Latvian, Estonian leagues, and he was averaging 6 points per game here, 9.1 points per game in the season before that. And it seems like in Israel and Ukraine is the only time he could actually average above 10 points. Of course, he was averaging quite a bit above that in the previous years, but he was much younger back then. He's now sitting at 34 years old. I'm liking the under on DJ Kennedy as the last pick. This is going to be a nice 5 flex for you guys over on PrizePicks. And we also had that 6 flex over on Underdog. Good luck, everyone.